Greetings, viewers. The weekend is nearly upon us, but first, let's ensure you're fully informed with today's top stories. Welcome to the broadcast. The Mandelson Blunder and the secret call that doomed Lord Mandelson, why the Metropolitan Police apologised for a secret tip-off about the top politician. The heart of British democracy, Westminster, is currently reeling from an event that has left the political establishment in a state of utter disbelief. It involves a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, a secret tip-off, and a series of errors that have forced the Metropolitan Police into a humiliating public retreat. At the centre of this storm is one of the most resilient and powerful figures in modern British history, Lord Peter Mandelson. Often referred to by the media as the Prince of Darkness for his mastery of political strategy and behind-the-scenes influence, Mandelson has once again found himself at the focus of a national scandal. This time, however, the story is not about a political maneuver, but about a blunder by the police that has raised serious questions about how information is used as a weapon in the corridors of power. On a cold Monday afternoon, the 23rd of February, 2026, the quiet of a London residential street was broken by the arrival of police officers. They were there to arrest Lord Mandelson. The charge was serious, misconduct in public office. The investigation was linked to allegations that Mandelson had shared sensitive government information with the late American financier Jeffrey Epstein during his time as a cabinet minister. For years, Mandelson's relationship with Epstein had been a source of speculation, but the release of documents by the United States Department of Justice had finally provided the spark for a criminal probe. The arrest itself was a dramatic escalation. Normally, for a person of Mandelson's standing, the police might arrange a voluntary interview. Indeed, his legal team at the law firm misconduct had already been in talks with the authorities. They had agreed that Mandelson would attend an interview in March to answer questions and clear his name. But the Metropolitan Police suddenly changed their approach. They decided that a voluntary interview was no longer sufficient. They claimed that they had received new, urgent information that suggested Mandelson was a flight risk. This claim of being a flight risk was the justification for the sudden arrest and the decision to take Mandelson into custody. The police suggested that they had evidence he was planning to take up permanent residence abroad, effectively fleeing the country to avoid the investigation. Mandelson was taken to Wandsworth Police Station, where he was questioned for several hours. He was eventually released on bail, but only after he was forced to surrender his passport, a move that is usually reserved for those who the state truly believes are about to run. However, as the dust began to settle, the story started to fall apart. Mandelson's lawyers were quick to strike back, describing the suggestion that their client was planning to flee as baseless and fanciful. They demanded to know where this information had come from. In response, the Metropolitan Police made their first major mistake. They told the lawyers that the tip-off about Mandelson's travel plans had come from a very high-ranking source, the Speaker of the House of Lords. At the time, this meant the finger was pointed directly at Lord Forsyth of Drumlin. Lord Forsyth had only recently taken up the position of Lord Speaker, having been elected to the post on the 12th of January and starting his duties on the 2nd of February, 2026. The idea that the man who presides over the upper house of Parliament had personally tipped off the police about a fellow peer was explosive. It suggested a deep rift within the British establishment and a level of internal spying that was unprecedented. But Lord Forsyth was quick to deny any involvement. On Tuesday evening, he issued a statement calling the suggestion entirely false and without foundation. He was clearly furious that his name had been used in such a way. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley, found himself in an increasingly difficult position. His officers had not only carried out a high-profile arrest based on a tip-off that was being challenged, but they had also seemingly misidentified the source of that tip-off to the suspect's lawyers. The truth finally emerged on Wednesday. It was not the Lord Speaker who had contacted the police, but the Speaker of the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle. In a statement to the House, Sir Lindsay confirmed that he had indeed passed on relevant information to the Metropolitan Police. He explained that he had done so in good faith, believing it to be his duty and responsibility as a public official. The information, it turned out, had been gathered during a recent official visit Sir Lindsay had made to the British Virgin Islands. While there, he had heard reports that Mandelson was planning to travel to the islands, perhaps with the intention of staying there permanently. This revelation caused a different kind of stir. While Sir Lindsay Hoyle maintained he was acting out of duty, the fact that a tip-off from the Commons Speaker had led to the arrest of a member of the House of Lords was a massive breach of traditional protocol. More importantly, the Metropolitan Police had to explain why they had told Mandelson's lawyers that the information came from Lord Forsyth. It was a blunder of the highest order. The force was forced to issue a grovelling apology to Sir Lindsay Hoyle for inadvertently revealing him as the source. They also had to reach out to Lord Forsyth to apologize for the error that had seen him wrongly accused. In the world of high-stakes politics, many are asking if this was truly just a series of mistakes. Lord Mandelson is a man with many friends, but also many enemies. He has spent decades at the heart of the Labour Party, serving as a key architect of the new Labour movement. His influence has always been vast, and even in recent years, he has remained a powerful advisor to the current Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. In February 2025, Mandelson was even appointed as the British ambassador to the United States, a role that many saw as the crowning achievement of his long career. However, that appointment lasted only 7 months. In September 2025, Mandelson was sacked from the post after Downing Street admitted that new information about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein had come to light. The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has been under pressure to ensure that the investigation into these links is thorough. The allegations are that Mandelson used his position as a government minister to pass market-sensitive information to Epstein, who then used that information for financial gain. Mandelson has always denied any criminal wrongdoing, though he has admitted that his association with Epstein was a mistake. The deep state narrative has begun to take hold among those who follow these events closely. Some believe that the flight risk claim was part of a character assassination attempt designed to permanently remove Mandelson from the political board. By arresting him and claiming he was trying to flee, his rivals could paint him as a man with something to hide. The fact that the tip-off came from the Speaker of the House of Commons, a man who is supposed to be above the political fray, only adds to the mystery. There is a complex relationship between the police, the press, and the politicians in the United Kingdom. Information is often used as a tool to influence public opinion or to damage a rival's reputation. In this case, a single phone call or a shared piece of gossip from a trip to the British Virgin Islands was enough to trigger a full-scale police operation. The Metropolitan Police, under the leadership of Sir Mark Rowley, now face a difficult task. They must continue their investigation into the Epstein links, but they must do so while their own credibility is under fire. The details of the tip-off itself are particularly interesting. Sir Lindsay Hoyle's visit to the British Virgin Islands was an official one, meant to strengthen ties between the UK and its overseas territories. How he came across information about Mandelson's private travel plans remains unclear. Was it a chance remark by a local official, or was it a deliberate leak intended to reach the Speaker's ears? For a man like Mandelson, who was already under investigation, any mention of the islands was bound to set off alarm bells. The Metropolitan Police have stated that they conducted their own assessment of the information before deciding to act. They felt that the risk of Mandelson leaving the country was high enough to warrant an immediate arrest. But the speed with which they backtracked suggests that their assessment may have been flawed. By the time they were apologizing to the speakers of both houses, the damage to their reputation was already done. They had turned a serious criminal investigation into a political circus. As the investigation continues, Lord Mandelson remains on bail. He has been forced to stay in the country, his wings clipped by the surrender of his passport. His legal team continues to fight his corner, insisting that the entire flight risk episode was a baseless attempt to smear his name. Meanwhile, in Westminster, the fallout from the blunder is still being felt. The relationship between the police and Parliament has been strained, and the role of the Speaker has been brought into question. The story of Peter Mandelson and the Metropolitan Police is a reminder of how quickly power can shift and how easily a reputation can be challenged. It is a tale of secret information, high-level apologies, and the enduring mystery of the Prince of Darkness. Whether this was a genuine mistake by the police or something more calculated remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, in the world of British politics, nothing is ever quite as simple as it seems. The Met's apology may have been intended to end the matter, but it has only raised more questions. Why was the information so readily accepted? Why was the source misidentified? And what does this mean for the future of the investigation into the Epstein files? As we watch this story unfold, we are forced to consider the forces that operate behind the scenes of our democracy. What do you think was the real reason behind this blunder by the Metropolitan Police, and do you believe that a figure as powerful as Lord Mandelson can ever truly be held to account in the same way as an ordinary citizen? That wraps up today's news. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the bulletin. Wishing you a smooth run into the weekend. Please don't hesitate to share your comments and feedback. We read and appreciate every one. See you tomorrow.